Hello, everyone out there. It's me again, of course, hopefully sharing some more knowledge or some insight about some topics that always affects us socially and individually. Thank you very much if you're taking the time to listen to this. Again, I'm trying to get this thing down pat where I'm not talking for too long. I want to make some certain points. I want to make sure that I hopefully keep you guys engaged or at least spark some kind of thought or interest in you. Of course, not just so you could come back to my site, but hopefully if you walk away from it, you could think something better or positive or something that you didn't think about before or a talking point. Well, of course, at my site, brooklynbaritone.com, you could always leave a comment, and I do have a YouTube page and a Vimeo page, but I will make that up as well, more geared to this site with the material that I have that I'm about to record for you. Moving along this morning, it is the morning right now for me, I'm going to talk about is a heavy subject that we all deal with, we all struggle with. It's truth, the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I look at truth as something that is heavy. The truth is heavy. The real truth is very heavy. It's something that's very solid. It's something heavy because a lot of us just don't have the strength to actually maintain it or handle it. I could use the analogy of someone at the gym. You got someone who's a little bit Debo, little muscles on them, and they may see someone else pushing the whole rack, and they think, you know what, I can handle that. Just like how we say, I can handle the truth. And then when you go lay down on that bench and you have all those weights on there, you can't budge it because a little bit more than you can handle that you thought you can. All of us does it. I've done it. There's times I still do it. But I also see around me, everyone else, they struggle with the truth. One problem is because the truth has been manufactured like a product. It's been manufactured, it's been changed, it gets chopped up, and people usually would take the bits and pieces of the truth that they want to see for themselves, that they want to tell people or sell people. When it comes down to it, the truth is ultimately the truth because it does not change. And of course, people do say, and I don't even say, I'm not going to just go to the fact that people think so. People do it. The truth is relative. That's what people say, that's what people practice today. Everybody practices it. The truth is relative. I come across my own truths that there are many things that I don't do as good as I should be doing, that I should be as diligent. There are a lot of things that I do need to come up with, or I should say step my game up with. There are some things that I do need to leave by the wayside to improve myself. There are some things that I am fantastic at. There are things that I know that I am great at because I can say I have a track record of it and I know myself. Because once you know yourself, you have that level of humility, then you can understand what other people's input is. You could understand what is required of you, but you also do understand that the truth about yourself, the truth about the situation around you, and the truth of people around you is not going to change, whether you realize it or whether they realize it or not. But the truth is the truth. And just like that guy at the gym, feel a little bit nice, they look a little bit nice in their tank top in the summer, but that don't mean you can handle the whole truth. Just like how we do in real life. We could look real nice. We could talk a good game. But that does not mean that we are outfitting ourselves to handle the real truth of anything. You have to have humility. You have to have wisdom. And I don't want people to confuse having wisdom with being cunning or with being slick. because it's a big difference. People misconstrue that, and that is not the truth. Because people know how to move properly, how to talk properly, that doesn't mean that they're wise. Truth can be a shaky subject because people could say, well, your truth, because of how you grew up, because of how society treats you and reacts to you, because of your skin color, because of your demographics, because of where you are, is not my truth. My truth and someone else's truth could be something different. You can't say it's the truth. It's the truth that we both come from different worlds. You know, you people say, well, your truth is that you complain about police pulling you over, but because you grew up in, I don't know, I'm just picking on a state, Boise, Idaho, and you came from a different upbringing, and you guys probably love the cops over there. So that's not true. But let's back up. You have to understand what point of view and experiences and opinions are and how they differ from the truth. Now, I definitely believe that there are great cops out there. I'm just saying that in light of many issues between the public, civilians, and police right now. I know there are fantastic cops out there. I know there are cops that do take advantage of their authority and abuse people and get away with literally murder. So it is true that, yeah, cops do overstep their boundaries. But it's also true that cops help people every day and take pride in putting on their uniform and knowing that they're helping people. You see that? Because of the fact that the truth covers everything, it may cover something that somebody else may not want to hear or acknowledge. See, that's the difference. Okay? Let me say it again. Just because the truth covers everything, it may also cause someone to disagree with a truth because it doesn't coincide with what they're feeling and their experiences or their own opinion. So they choose to not acknowledge it. Choose to not acknowledge. That is free will. That is opinion. That is your prerogative. That does not make it the truth. All black people are lazy. They have lazy black people. There are lazy Chinese people. There are lazy Caucasian people. There are lazy Hindi people. There's lazy people. But all black people are not lazy, I can tell you that. All white people are racist. All white people are not racist. I have people, I don't want to sound like, racist. Oh, I got some white friends. I have people from across all walks of life through my whole life. Different cultures, different ethnicities, skin colors. That are my people. That are my people. And that's not the truth. All white people are racist. A lot of white people, they understand the deal. A lot of white people, they make sure that they don't step on the toes of other people because they understand how delicate certain situations are, because they understand and acknowledge the truth that certain people were disenfranchised, were oppressed, had a lot of systematic negative things happen to them that'll cause them to be at a lesser state than other people, a lesser state of being than other people. Honey Nut Cheerios taste great. Honey Nut Cheerios taste horrible. Well, you can say the truth is relative, but at the same time, everyone's different. If it tastes bad, then it tastes bad. That's the truth. If it tastes good, it tastes good. That is the truth. That's where people try to whittle down the truth. Ultimately say, well, that's your truth. And I can see why we are so mixed up, because now we have such a point of individualism where people wish to do what they want. And there's consequences with that, because we're living in a world where there are nothing but consequences for people doing what they want in all walks of life, in all generations. The truth is solid because it doesn't change. Just because we change, we want the truth to change with us. It doesn't work like that. This is why we have so much conflict. Because a lot of people do not wish to acknowledge, say, the truths of others, or the truth of what really happened in history, in the truths of religion. It was true that I did not believe totally in God the way I should have now. I was an atheist. I was more agnostic. I was. Because, I did believe in a God, but I also believed in a whole lot of other things. And I was standing up right behind it as well. But it wasn't until I started digging more, researching more, looking at the true origins of almost everything spiritual, religious, and historically. Then the dots started to connect. Then I started to understand, wow, the real truth that I wasn't taught, the real truth that other people didn't know, the real truth that other people didn't know that influenced me with their input. You do have to be careful with the truth because you have to open your eyes to everything, not just what's in your world, not just what's presented in front of you. You have to go dig. Use that big, beautiful brain and those beautiful eyes to see and analyze and acknowledge. But to acknowledge means you have to humble yourself. And then once you acknowledge and analyze, you can start to digest things for what they really are. Have a more educated reaction and response to the world around you. That's the beauty about the truth, because it's always there. It's always there. It never changes. We, as people, we change. We flip-flop. There's a lot of people that don't understand the value of real truth because they flip-flop. We change. We are emotional creatures. We have to get a grip of ourselves because we could be feeling one way literally 1 minute and another way another minute. That's why people have remorse. For now, I could be angry. I could be full of wrath and just act out on you. Curse you out, wish all types of bad things, do certain things because right now, because what I feel is the truth. Why? Because it's relative to me. Why? Because I'm feeling a certain way. Why? Because I am not at a point of humility where I can see nothing but my anger. I can't see past my anger. So at that time, you could say that's my truth. Until you finish hulking out, you revert back down to David Banner and you just realize, oh wow, man, I really shouldn't have did that. But a lot of us, we are trained to not be humble. We are trained to be prideful, to be wrong and strong. So even though you know in your heart that you were wrong, you may not even apologize for it. We might even confess that you did it, or probably keep going. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep being wrong and strong because I don't want to look a certain way. Because the truth is we're weak. When it comes down to that, I still have weakness. I'm not perfect. No one here is anywhere near perfect. Even the strongest person you know has a point of weakness. Could have been they were weaker in the past, or you're so strong for a long time, your strength, you got to rest, or you just can't take anymore for certain times. Going back to how we feel at a certain time, we change. When you're younger and you get older, you look back at certain things. Man, if I had a time machine, I would go ahead and give myself the business. Hey, what are you doing? Don't do that, man. Yeah, you're doing this because you're only limited to what you know, what you feel is right. But now you're different. That's the thing about the truth. It does not change. The truth is always there. When you open your mind to learn things, you will always, always, always be amazed at what you learn every day. We all have the capacity to learn something new every day. It doesn't have to be a brand new technique to help your life out easier. It could just be something you found out about somebody, about something, about yourself every day. But it's because of the fact the truth is solid and constant. It's always there. We may change. We may have our minds and our eyes set somewhere else. We may choose to acknowledge certain things. But then when that one thing or things or person or whatever it is there consistently, constantly in the truth, when you realize it, it's there. Wow, I never knew that. Wow, I never knew that there was so much history in America. When you're growing up, you would think that it's just some savage Indians that was, happened to be blessed to have Christopher Columbus come by. You're like, oh, that's why, we have Thanksgiving and all that stuff. Christopher Columbus is a great guy. Turns out he was not a great guy at all. Turns out Indians, they were great before he came along. Turns out that Christopher Columbus was definitely not the first person that was not a Native American to set foot on this land. Turns out that there were more as black people on Christopher Columbus's ship to help him get there. These are things that we're not taught, but it's the truth. You see, some people say that's your truth because they weren't taught that. And they grow up believing that and holding on to that and not willing to understand or accept that. We all have to understand and realize that just because you don't acknowledge something or someone else does not acknowledge something does not make it untrue. Again, we have to use that big, beautiful brain that we have and our eyes and look at a lot more than what's around us. Look at everything else that is past us. Challenge your own thoughts, challenge your own beliefs. As I said before, I was agnostic. When I look at the definition of the things that I felt and believed in, I was agnostic. But I am a believer in Christ now. Real believer in Christ. Not because I get up and just go to church and I know some verses, but because there's so much things that I learned historically that I saw was deliberately left out. There's so much things that I learned scientifically that is purposely left out from everybody's itinerary to teach children. There are so many things that were left out that people who are of the faith and religion, they don't know. So of course you have a long and strong tradition of just doing what everybody else does. There will be some things that are the truth that'll be left by the wayside. Now, if you're humble enough and you acknowledge that you may want to learn something more, those things left by the wayside that are truthful will be waiting for you because it's solid, constant, consistent. It will never go away, regardless of what you think and what you feel or what you choose to accept. This is why I'm a Christian. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper, but whenever I learn the truth about certain things, I do wish to share it with people. Why? Because that's the thing that changed me. This is the thing that helped me, to stop cursing. This is the thing that helped me learn even more about the world today than I ever did. I have a lot of experience with certain things. I've been to college. I ran a company for a little bit. I was in the military. There's a lot of things that I've done. I've been on television. Okay, so I have a little bit of experience of the world out there. I had a lot of time to go up and down, to make bad choices, good choices, weird choices. Been through my phases. And I'm not someone that's on their deathbed that decides to, make the decision of faith that I have now. And I definitely was not someone who was just forcefully raised into church to Bible thump. So my views are definitely elaborate and diverse, which I feel. So I try to have a better understanding of things. And I'm humble to the fact where, yeah, there's always something I could learn or improve about myself. So, it's not like I wake up like, this is it. I'm going to go out and the world's going to have to conform to me. No, there's a lot about the world that you have to conform to. And the reason why, too, I like being a Christian is because of our example that was down here to show us how to treat each other, to show us what the truth really is. You have to be humble. You have to be humble. And when you look at how we're designed and how things work and why things work the way they do, for me and for millions of other people, it's about love. Love and order. You have to have love and order. In order to have order, you have to have a constant truth. It can't be wishy-washy or everything will be chaotic. As you can see now, because everyone has their own truth, their own individualism, what they feel the truth is supposed to be. I want everybody to not be biased. Challenge even yourself. That takes strength. It takes strength, it takes humility, and it takes wisdom. Because I had to challenge myself. I used to argue down many Christians in the past. Why? Because I knew that they didn't know certain scientific things. I knew that they didn't know anything past the verses. And whatever didn't make sense to me, back then I didn't care to do any kind of research because it didn't appeal to me. It was much easier to deny many things. It was much easier to acknowledge and accept certain things about myself and about the world. It was easier just to reject. I don't care. It doesn't sound good enough to me. No. But the Father worked on me. I'm trying to utilize this big, beautiful brain that I have. And this is the point that I'm at right now. Hopefully utilizing my resources, my talents, and I'm seeing on past the 20-minute mark. I was hoping to stop at least 15 minutes. I know I may tend to ramble, but I'm trying to curb that. So hopefully I hit some kind of points with you with the truth, with how heavy it is, with how solid it is, but it's always constant. Even when you have so much things covering it up, was buried deep down in certain things, and you yourself may have put it away. You didn't want to look at it. You could care less about it. It's always going to be there. It's going to be there. It's going to be there even after you close your eyes, take your last breath from this life. It's still going to be there. Everything that you probably have worked to cover up, it's going to be there, and it may come out. So your best bet, be transparent. Be humble. Acknowledge what you're about. Acknowledge what other people are going through. You have to acknowledge everything around you. And that takes humility, and people are bent on being prideful. People are bent on fitting in with the crowd. That does nothing for you in the long run. That does nothing for anybody else in the long run. All you're doing is helping hurt everyone by suppressing the truth. Do your part. Step up. Be transparent. It is a beautiful, wonderful life when you are as truthful as you can be. When you're just truthful with everything, period. Because you don't have to worry about covering up. You don't have to worry about having to explain things. Yeah, you're going to probably be around people who practice iniquity and don't want to hear the real truth. And that's the hard part. But you can't allow that to change you and sculpt you. Stand up for something, because best believe, even though things could be ruined for you later on down the road, the fact that you were truthful could help you out in the long run, build your character, and you have no idea how that impacts everybody else. And you know what? They're really a great person. They always told the truth. And I do have someone who I'm around a lot, and they tell me that I'm the most truthful person they know. And that impacts me. Despite of everything that I know that I need to improve on, that impacts me. So I would not have been in that path and not affect people and things around me if I wasn't truthful. So I thank the fact that the truth is there for us. We just have to be wise. We just have to be humble. And it's always going to be there. So think about it. Hopefully, some of you may listen to this and it'll be that change that you need. Hopefully, some of you will realize how important it is. And some people just won't care what I got to say. But that's all I'm saying for now. Past the 25-minute mark. A little bit longer than I wanted to. As you already know, brokenbaritone.com. People who know me. I like to talk. So until next time, see you later.